4 wins in a row is a tall task, but not beyond the call of any of these runners here, and we are off.
The uncle giving you some ominous text at the start today. You will have bad luck. And we got 10 arrows in the first chest. Maybe there will be a bow in the escape? One can only hope.
Well, both races I've been involved with today have both been bow seeds, so I kind of would like a little bit more variety in my life, but I'm sure these runners would gladly appreciate a bow coming up here.
Yeah, I gotta say that's probably my favorite escape weapon. It's just so fast. But we'll see what we get. You know, sometimes it's not so nice. Sometimes you gotta deal with bombs. And we'll be grabbing his weapon here, Gonzspor right behind, and it's gonna be bombs.
Get to see how much these runners have practiced their bomb strats here in the escape sequence. Should be really interesting to be sure. We got a big 20 there along with their bombs.
Yeah, both runners carrying a pot here. Of course, having bombs already means you don't need to worry about farming for them as you go up, but you know, getting some money or something like that can be pretty nice for when you get to Kakariko.
Absolutely. While we're watching this escape sequence, just a little bit of a background as to how our runners got here. Vulajin took a week 1 victory against Kenny 32, but unfortunately was matched up against Genya 23 and subsequently lost in week 2. Genya 23, by the way, still 3-0, one of the 64 that is with an unblemished record. Gonzspor, in the meanwhile, losing to Game Guy 888 in the first week, but winning against Ovok Jam in week 2.
We see a different approach to this first blue guard from both players, but they both managed to take him down in 2 bombs. Slight lead for Vulajin here. Gonzspor did get hit a bit, but there is a guaranteed heart under this pot that Vula just went by. I wouldn't be surprised to see Gonzspor pick it up, but actually, okay, faked me out there.
And getting an extra bomb for his troubles.
That can be pretty good. I was a little excited because bomb drops in Escape are normally really meaningful for opening that room at the end, but since they have bombs already, not so much of a big deal. That's that was something. Oh man, Vulajin's getting beat up now. He's down to 1 heart, and this guard is chasing him down. Oh my gosh, what do you do? What do you do?
Oh gosh, panic time.
Oh, he's dead.
Kamikaze approach not that great on half a heart, but it may be best for Vulajin just to get the death over with and restart from square 1 here.
Oh man, Gonzspor is in some trouble too. This is the bomb escape. He's down to 1 bomb now. Vula up to 10 from after that death, so he's back. You know, gotta walk through this again, so he's not feeling good about that. But Gonzspor, I don't know what his options are here. I think maybe get Zelda and then save and quit, and that would refill some bombs. Where bombs might refill as soon as you pick up Zelda up to 3 potentially.
Yeah, I've seen in a previous commentates where runners have death warped as soon as they enter the sewers, and they would restart with 3 bombs at that point. So that may be what Gonzspor may elect to do here. We'll just have to wait and see. Meanwhile, Vulajin is on his way to getting back to where he met his untimely demise.
Yeah. And oh man, Vula didn't even get the key guard down, so he'll have to do both rooms, but he does have a full 10 bombs here. This single bomb for Gonzspor could be pretty concerning. He's going to have to use at least 1 on the key rat. This time Vula manages to take out that green guard, so he will be able to progress through, but man, this is one of the reasons why people hate the bomb escape. Everybody has to practice it because it's definitely the worst weapon for this. But once things go off the plan, it's rough.
Yeah, my practice ROM has a save state devoted to this practice. I make sure to get it in at least once a week or so because, yeah, this is very tricky, and you could easily gain a quick advantage in your race with some efficient bomb strats. But it's a tricky thing to pull off, to be sure. Vulajin now going to be utilizing the pots against the Dungeon Guard, while Gonzspor is on his way to the sewers.
Yeah, so we'll have to see what Gonzspor opts to do. As you were saying, people taking a death warp right after the sewers, since the save point is right there. You definitely want more than 1 bomb for this, because that key rat can be a pain, and you almost need a bomb to check that back of escape area. It can be a really painful revisit later, especially if the gloves are locked by something that's in there. You have to walk all the way back through the escape port. So we'll see what Gonzspor opts for here. Will he continue or take a death? maybe going to continue.
Yeah, or maybe could utilize the snakes maybe for a quick health depletion, but it looks like Gonzspor is going to persist.
Alright, so this could be a chance for Vula to even things up after that death. Of course, both runners are probably not going to be feeling great about this bomb escape here. Wow.
Well, there's the bomb
Lord.
saved.
Man, that's a huge deal for Gonzspor because he'll be able to check that last chest and just use his sword and have an easy time with that rat. That's really fortuitous.
Yeah, absolutely. Just hope Gonzspor doesn't somehow blow himself up when trying to reveal that door. But other than that, Gonzspor's got this must be sitting pretty. The Death Warp would have actually backfired in a sense. We'll see what's here in the left room here very shortly for Gonzspor.
Yep, so using his last bomb up, he's managed to be down to almost nothing. It's a bomb upgrade, it's a piece of heart, and it's a blue rupee. Now, I wasn't paying attention to every chest, but I think we might still be missing the map, which means it would be in Sanctuary in that case. But
yeah, I don't recall the map being collected. Yeah, absolutely. They see if they can save a handful of seconds by recognizing the lack of a map drop thus far. Yeah, I don't recall that being collected either. A nice magic refill. Gonzspor doing a little bit of farming here before exiting to the Sanctuary, getting some nice payouts actually for the additional rat extermination.
Yeah, one thing to note here is since he is out of bombs, it would be nice to have some drops for that heading into Kakariko. The money is good at least, and knowing that there's red rupees in the drop pool, so maybe looking for a couple more, but has to walk into Sank now, and might have to go buy bombs in Kakariko, which is not the worst, but at least Vula will have that little bit of time save, and it was the map in Sank. Gonzspor does check it. I know that just can be pretty unnerving, like you count items and you're pretty sure you got the map already, so you skip it, and then you have to look at that chest every time you save and quit to Sang. Was I really right about that?
Gotta love that bit of self-doubt that creeps in after a long time, after a seed just keeps going and going, to be sure. Gonzspor looks to be going up, maybe going to do a lumberjack check here, and going to be doing some tree pulling as well.
Yeah, kind of by reflex kills that dude with the sign, but you can actually save that kill for after you pull the tree because you're basically on the board. Oh, hey, bombs from the hoarder, so that is pretty helpful.
That's going to negate the advantage that Vulajin had by doing the untimely death that refilled his bomb stock. Looks like we have the mushroom on the lumberjack ledge. Will that be relevant? Only time will tell.
Oh, that's just horrible. I mean, at least if you're going to give an egg a seed, just be obvious about it and put the hookshot there or something. We're seeing a variation from Vula here. Maybe feeling like because of that death in the escape, he's got to play a little bit different. Or maybe just saying, you know, what does the egg of knowledge really do for me? And he's going to go for a check into Lost Woods directly without looking at Lumberjack. So that's going to save him a little bit of time here, but he won't have that knowledge that the mushroom's there.
And in the mushroom's normal location, we just had an arrow capacity upgrade and 20 rupees in the Thieves' hideout.
Yeah, so nothing too exciting yet, but both runners will be happy that they have a sword. Not every day you get a sword, and we do see the single kill from the looks of it. Tree pull is just 5 rupees, so nothing great from those, but hoarders being bombs is good. Vula, I don't think even walked by a hoarder, but he still has enough from the escape to do his Kakariko clear.
Yeah, Gonzspor taking a strong advantage from those hoarders, single-handedly filling his bomb count to 11 from those for the most part. And yeah, with Vulajin's variation here has pretty much equalized their positions. Now, Gonzspor has a slight informational advantage, but as far as where they are right now, these guys are practically in sync.
Yeah, and oh man,
well,
I think Gonzspor
so much for that.
Walks, yeah, so he's gonna have to walk in and out of Thieves' hut to equalize that. So Vula will be trailblazing a little bit through Kakariko here, although he's not gonna feel like it after taking that death in the escape.
No, I can certainly empathize with that. And Gonzspor walking right back down, and that resets the block, so he'll be able to get all 4 chests in one go here.
Yeah, so 300 rupees showing up in Thieves' hut is pretty helpful. Nothing in the way of progression items, but you have your money basically taken care of. You can look towards maybe going for Zora later. but we'll need a little bit more money for that, but we'll see plenty of big 20s show up, no doubt. So Vulajin going through the well now, gets a piece of heart from the first chest. We'll see if any of these other 4 have something good.
And along with that other piece of heart, we have more bomb capacity, some 50 rupees, and yet another piece of heart. So kind of starved for progression thus far, our players.
We don't have much to show for the last 10 minutes of this scene. That tracker is looking pretty lonely, and oh wow, we got another item, but it's the red boomerang.
The off-maligned red boomerang it is. That's, outside of the sword, the only item in their inventory right now, so I'm sure they're all thrilled for that. Another heart container in the chicken hut as well.
Really decent health early on. 6 hearts already is not too bad. Of course, the runners would be happy to see a mail upgrade or something like that. That'll make the bosses much safer later on. We see Vulajin, he's ducking into the back of the tavern here, and might not opt to buy bombs. He does only have 3 left, but that is enough to open Mini Moldorm, Ice Rod Cave, and the back of Sahashwala's hut. Since he does have the sword, he doesn't have to fight the Mini Moldorms with bombs.
Yeah, but indeed looks like Vulajin is foregoing that bomb purchase. They're hoping to maybe save what he can for a potential Zora visit in the immediate future, potentially. Looks like another heart container on the bookshelf of the library, so that will probably remain there for the remainder of the season, you would have to expect. And let's see what the race has in store.
And we'll get a quick check here. Vula's probably hoping it's nothing because the bomb count's low, but it's the Master Sword, so he's going to have to grab that right away. Now, good news for him. 2 bombs will still be enough for him to clear South Shore, and he was going to walk over to Sahashwala's closet. It's convenient enough to drop down to Lake Hylia and buy some bombs there, but Master Sword early on, that's pretty nice. It maybe makes you worry a little bit that you might have to do Aghanim, but you never say no to a sword.
Yeah, an Aga Watch, I believe, has been raised for this race at this point. We'll see if that turns into a more elevated concern, but for now, really, the only thing we have of note is that Master Sword, so we'll see what happens from here. Both of our runners saving and quitting practically within seconds of each other, and we'll see if they both decide to proceed on to South Shore or maybe parlay into Eastern Palace Sahasrara.
Yeah, and an interesting note too is to sync things up there, since Gonzspor was a bit behind getting the race game. I do believe he did the race game blind, which was definitely a more common play in the Key Sanity tournament. But doing it in the normal modes is kind of interesting, though. There are a lot of things that you can see in the race game that would encourage you to maybe do it blind, because if you do it blind and there's a full heart there, it's like, hey, why not pick it up? But if you look at it there, see a full heart, nah. Alright, so Vula grabs a piece of heart from the dam. Gonzspor's going to opt for alternate, but equally as fast route of pulling out the water first, so we'll get to see what is our soggy item today as Gonzspor steps outside and finds an arrow upgrade.
Yep, and we can demonstrate right here that getting either item, not much of a difference in time, as they're both pretty much still have the same difference. Typically, you want to get that front item first, just in case it's something like the boot, so you can get the second item quicker. But more often than not, that's an equal trade there. So Vulajin's going to be entering the Mini Moldorm cave right now. Let's see what 5 items we have in store in the back of this cave.
Yeah, unfortunately both players got hit on their way down here, so they can't use sword beams to clean these guys up. Vula also doesn't have to worry about his bomb count anymore. He smartly stunned an enemy to check the stun prize on the way over, getting some use out of that red boomerang, and the stun prize today is 8 bombs. Meantime, Mini Moldorm Cave paying off a little bit with the lamp and the mirror showing up here.
Okay, that well, one of them wouldn't point to an Agaseed. One certainly does. So we'll have to see what further progression items we get here. But yeah, huge payout from Mini Moldorm Cave. It looks like both of our runners will elect to get that Ice Rod Cave over and done with while they're in the neighborhood.
Yeah, it's good to just get this out of the way. It might become more efficient later if you leave it until you have the flute or maybe the boots to run over here faster. But if there's something required here and you leave from Moldorm Cave, my gosh, it's a long walk for one item later on. So we'll see what we've got. And, you know, Gonzspor, knowing that the mushroom is on that lumberjack ledge, might become important later on. Ice Rod Cave today, just a piece of hearts. We'll see both guys pick it up and then save and quit out of here. I'm thinking, I mean, you could do Agar right now, but it seems awful without a Moon Pearl, so maybe a visit to Eastern is in the cards.
Yeah, and just for those that were watching from the past 10 minutes, Gonzspor is aware of the contents of the Lumberjack Ledge, while Vulajin, perhaps in an attempt to make up for lost time, went ahead and skipped that. And Vulajin does not have the flippers, so that jump in the water is only going to serve to maybe rinse Link off for a quick second there.
Yeah, the thing he was doing there was checking the item on the Hylia Island.
Yes,
So he saw that there's bombs there. It's just for a little bit of information. And he's getting good use out of the stun prize, filling up his bombs up to 20. He's not really going to have to worry about that pretty much for the rest of the scene now.
Yeah, his bomb count should last him for pretty much the remainder of this this run, to be sure. Let's see what Gonzspor pulls out of the back. We have an armor upgrade, another piece of heart, and a bottle. So Sick Kid is now live.
Yeah, good safety is here for these guys as well. With that mail, decent amount of hearts and a red potion in tow, they'll probably be feeling pretty confident going into any boss. And we've got a map check real quick. Looks like Eastern was the blue pendant. Another map check for Vulajin, just before going into Eastern, makes sense. Hera is Crystal 6, and Desert hanging out at Crystal 3.
Yep, both these runners in sync with each other, even checking their dungeons at practically equal times. So these runners are of one mind at this very moment, to be sure.
Yeah, and they're very quickly running out of light world locations that they can actually do. All of the items they've found so far unlock absolutely nothing outside of Sphere 1, aside from the ability to do Aghanim. So I'm sure they're both very impressed with that. But we'll have to see what Eastern has. Maybe it can bail us out, but it's looking an awful lot like an Egg Seed.
Yeah, getting strong Aga vibes here. Now, with the lamp, all of the non-boss item locations are logically available for our runners. We just have the map in the first one, however. So there's a good chance, potentially, that Armos Knights may have an item now.
Yeah, that's true. So Gonzspor will be working his way through Eastern Palace now. Unfortunately, without the hook shot, you have to go around this chest on the right side, but both runners are going to have to do the same thing. This is pretty standard fare, honestly. You know, you go to Eastern and you are just accepting that you're probably going to be double dipping this. So there's the big key. Now, of course, since we do have the pendant action going on here, that double dip may never happen. If they're lucky, they'll get all 3 items, or maybe just 2 items and have there be a useless one hanging out on Armos. But we'll have to see as both our guys progress through this dungeon and get to the good stuff, hopefully.
Yeah, good stuff is certainly what they're looking for. What they have is, outside of the Mire, is nice, but like you mentioned, doesn't really progress things back from where they've been now for quite some time. We'll see how far they go here. There's a hammer, so that's certainly of value right there, to be sure.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Glove would be really nice to show up. That would give them some Death Mountain access, and now a lot since they have that hammer. But that hammer might be some path to the Dark World. We got the compass in the big chest. 1 chance left. And also confirming that Armos Knights has one of the items. There's just 1 more, and that vanilla big key. So, assuming that this vanilla big key isn't anything, our runners will be faced with the decision fairly shortly. Do you check Agina, or do you walk up to Aghanim? I guess Sick Kid as well has to be checked.
Yeah, there's effectively 2 items remaining to really get your Dark World access, Moon Pearl, obviously, and the glove. So with 2 items left to collect, it's really up to you to determine whether you want to make sure there's fewer than 2 items available to you, and that magic cape is sending strong Aghanim signals now.
Oh my gosh. Now the thing is, if they do Aghanim, right, they don't even have the Moon Pearl. So you can do it now, but you only get the pyramid item out of it. So looks like Gonzspor's going to take a look at Agina's cave. Vulajin grabbed some hearts, which makes me think it's Aghanim right away, but no, he's going to walk down as well, so he's also going for Agina's cave. This makes sense. It's equally likely that... Whoa, hang on, we got a bit of a divergence here. Gonzspor staying in logic, but Vulajin walking over to the right looks like might be some time for fake flippers.
That's certainly what it appears to be here. Gonzspor staying within logic. Vulajin throwing logic to the wind here at this point. Maybe hoping to see. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's a little concern with this because he knows what's on the island already, so he's not getting any information out of that. He's going to be able to check the hobo, and he'll be able to get to Zora, but he doesn't have the money for Zora, and he doesn't have the Moon Pearl to get the Waterfall Cave. So this Fake Flippers might backfire if the hobo doesn't have money. Setting it up now, so we'll see what the randomizer is actually expecting of us with Gonzspor going to Agina's cave, and is this going to be something, or are we like Moon Pearl on Pyramid here? Nope, there it is.
Agina giving up the Dark World access to Link, and that is a huge find for Gonzspor. That is a out of the way Moon Pearl to be sure, but that gives our runner there. Gonzspor is one item away from having free reign to the Dark World.
Yeah, so he could be taking a look at Sick Kid now. This is his last in-logic Light World location. If this is the gloves, he can save himself potentially an Aghanim fight, but you know, with the Moon Pearl and the Hammer, you have a ton of Dark World access as soon as you take Aga 1 down, so that's probably what it's going to be, and in just moments, we will find out. Vulajin. He's got a red rupee.
That is
reverse Fake Flippers out of here. He's so close to the money, but the stun prize is in rupees, so it's going to be tough to farm it up.
Meanwhile, Sick Kid has 50 rupees. That Vulajin would probably like that right now, but it certainly looked like it's going to be an Agadai for Gonzspor.
Yeah, that's everything. Unless you can sequence break your way out of it, Aghanim is required in this seed, and Gonzspor is embracing the logic, and rather than going for Fake Flippers, going to be doing that fight of Aga momentarily. So Vula will get us some information. He's going to take a look over at Zora's domain and see what we got here. And yeah, he's just going to hop out of the water right away because, of course, he doesn't have the Moon Pearl to make... Oh!
Wow!
Oh my gosh!
Bless RNG.
That was such a clutch kill on that crab. Now the thing is, I don't know exactly like what prize pack those crabs are in, but he could have known from the red rupees on the rats and the escape that red rupees are on some overworld enemies as well. Or maybe it's all calculated, maybe it's just luck, but anyways, Vula's going to be getting the Zora check done right now, which is going to be good for him. He'll be probably following Gonzspor's footsteps to Agar, but if this fish has something, that could be big.
Oh gosh, if this is myths or anything progression, this would be a huge turnabout.
Yeah, holy smokes, if this is the glove, then we could be off on a wild goose chase, but
well.
That's just Zora's left ventricle getting coughed up there, so Vula's going to save and quit, and all he has left is Sick Kid, Agina's Cave, and Aga himself.
So the sequence break gamble for Vula did not pay the dividends Vula was looking for, and it looks like Vula is just going to accept his losses and go straight for Aghanim at this point.
Yeah, that looks to be the play. He won't be able to do much after he's done it, but he's going to have to eventually make that walk down to Agina's Cave, and he'll know pretty soon. He's just going to do this, get the pyramid item done. And Gonzspor will be able to explore the Dark World a little bit more right away, so he'll be trailblazing for a bit here. But both runners still pretty close here. I'm sure at some point Gonzspor is going to have to go up to Zora's domain. Now, this might actually... The fact that he never checked Lumberjack, this might actually be okay for Vula, since Aga got forced. The location will be on his mind later once he finds the boots, might route it in with some North Dark World stuff. So if that mushroom ends up mattering, could be pretty good from Vula's side of things, but Gonzspor will definitely have it on his mind. I wouldn't be surprised to see him check it, soon after getting boots.
Most certainly. We'll just have to see when those boots ever do get found at this point. So, yeah, both our runners in different parts of the castle tower here. We're just waiting for the fight with Aghanim here. See how much blue Aghanim decides to deliver to our runners here in this seed.
I'm really glad that the seed, forces the same RNG for both players. It's never fun for one person to sit through like 3 lightning shots of Aghanim while the other person just, kills it. super fast, but
Mm-hmm.
as long as neither player misses a shot, which I would expect neither one would, then they'll get exactly the same luck. Alright, so Zelda's getting kidnapped. I thought she was in Sanctuary, but, you know, don't worry about it.
And it turns out priests aren't the best bodyguards, it appears. Oh well, we'll see if we can do something about that later in the seed. Meanwhile, Gonzspor is going to cut the drapes and encounter Aga 1.
Alright, let's see what we got. So, what are you going to say for blue balls? I'm going to go with a 3. Be kind of nice.
Yeah, I was going to go with either 2 or 3. Well, it's certainly going to be at least 1.
Yeah, there's our first one. Is Aga really mean today? No. Only 1 so far. 4th shot. Not too bad. So we've got 3 hits in already. Here's the forced lightning phase. And if Aga is nice, keeps it to 2 blue balls, then we won't get another lightning set.
So far, Aganim being rather generous thus far.
Uh-oh.
Just as I
Number
start
2.
talking, yep.
1 more and we're gonna get another phase. Oh! 50-50. He's either dead here or he keeps himself alive for another 10 seconds and he doesn't want to die yet, so here's another zap.
Yeah, 3 looking like the call so far.
Yep, and it is because now this is a guaranteed shot, so Aga's gonna die.
Yep. So Gonzspor will get the benefit of a health refill as well, being not with the Moon Pearl in possession, and we'll get to take a look at these locations nearby if Gonzspor so chooses. Definitely going to take a peek at the ledge, to be sure.
Yep. Actually didn't even check it, he's just gonna walk up, assuming that it's useful at this point. Just a red rupee, but he takes it because, I mean, he hasn't checked his aura, and he also has to potentially pay for pod soon, so that money can be pretty useful.
Yep, Gonzspor's still at the point where money is not superfluous for sure, and it looks like Gonzspor may be heading, it's like towards, not, is he going to pod? Or
could be pod, could be Hype Cave first.
Yeah,
I like Hype Cave first myself.
Yeah, that's certainly high-density locations such as Hype Cave are definitely preferred when you have the opportunity. So we'll see if it lives up to that name or if that's just a misnomer.
Yeah, there's a lot of items in here, 5. And we get our map check. Looks like Thieves Town is green pendant, Ice is red pendant, and Crystal 5 is going to be in Palace of Darkness. Okay, so Hype Cave today. The Hype Index currently floating at around a 2, and it's up to a 6 because there's the bow, so that's pretty good to start things off. Good thing you went here before pod. It's 20, piece of heart, single rupee, and an arrow upgrade, so it's staying solid at a 6 out of 10 there, but, you know, the bow, Hype Cave, that makes it worth going there.
Absolutely. That's a very nice find for Gonzspor with that Hype Cave. Vulajin is going to have to be relegated back to the light world for now, and unfortunately, we'll have to Mire first.
Oh man, that's rough. He had a little bit of pause there, maybe maybe he forgot Nagina's cave, so I'd expect to see maybe a sick kid, maybe a Nagina check now. He'll find the Moon Pearl, and then he'll be into the Dark World along with Gonzspor. So that's Link's house, so I'm thinking Will is like, oh crap, I gotta walk down the desert. There's another map check from Gonzspor, just confirming probably something he had marked, and says, okay, yeah, this is right.
Yep, with pod being a red crystal, you have the bow, you have the hammer, you have the lamp. Yeah, that pretty much spells out a pod go for pretty much anyone with a decent knowledge of item requirements.
Yeah, interesting. We find ourselves in a situation here where Gonzspor is able to do the right side of the Dark World, but there's actually no access over to Village of Outcasts yet, thanks to no glove, no hookshot. So it's basically pod or the 2 more locations in South Dark World. And you can't even go to Catfish.
Yeah, maybe a hookshot in here or something to further the gloveless strategies here, but we'll just have to wait and see if pod has anything of progressive value here.
Yeah, so we'll see how it goes for Gonzspor. Getting that mirror ready because, of course, you always want to mirror if you can after grabbing this first chest. So Gula's going to grab his Moon Pearl soon, and we'll be on the same path. I hope for Gula's sake that he also opts for Hype Cave first, but we'll have to see what the decision is. And there's the Moon Pearl, save and quit. Gonzspor grabs that first key, and it looks like he wants to go right side first.
And with that key being in that first chest, if Vulajin were to come in here without going to Hype Cave first, he wouldn't be immediately blocked by there being anything other than a small key in that first chest. So we'll see if that has any relevance, or if Vulajin will get that Hype Cave first.
Yeah, it looks like Vula's going to walk over, check Sick Kid right now, and Gonzspor is going to make some progression in pod. There's definitely, well, almost definitely something is in pod. We'll have to see what's what as Gonzspor moves through here. Man, almost out of bombs, but there's plenty of bombs in skulls in this dungeon, so he'll be able to keep them refilled pretty well. Vula's going to pick up that 50, and that's actually pretty convenient because now he'll have almost enough for that paying off the monkey to get into Palace of Darkness.
Yeah, Vulajin just needs to get another easy 20 rupees from an enemy drop, and he's all set. And there's a glove for Gonzspor.
That's pretty good stuff. It's the second small key of pod, so we almost have our guaranteed 4 keys from the front. Vula's gonna be heading back to the Dark World here. See what route Gonzspor opts to take here. At this point, maybe just checking the vanilla big key chest right away is the way to go without the ability to bonk over. Alright, so gonna be telling here. Vula's pulled out the hammer. If he goes south to Hype Cave, that's gonna be good for him. And he is.
And Vulajin will definitely be rewarded here with that bow, and I can only imagine he's going to make a beeline for pod immediately after Hype Cave here.
You know, interesting call from Gonzspor here. Didn't finish clearing the first few chests, which could have just been keys, but there is the potential that the big key is waiting in that first half of pod still. He had, I believe, 2 keys out of the 4 that are guaranteed there, so it's possible that there's an item or the big key waiting, but we'll have to see what's what. So Vula's got his bow, and he's just getting the rest of the, stuff that is in Hype Cave. But there's the big key for Gonzspor, so that'll be good. He'll be able to check everything back here now.
Vulajin getting the intel that we already have from Gonzspor's screen here, so it looks like Gonzspor's gonna peek the harmless hellway and get 50 rupees for his troubles.
Yep, so that's what, glove and 50 rupees we've seen in pod so far, so 2 of the items down. Of course, there's so many keys in such a pod, the 14 chests.
Ooh, a hammer jump. This is very nice from Gonzspor here.
Yeah, interesting to set it up. I mean, he has the mirror, so he's able to mirror out, but maybe he just wants to walk to the back from here. Unfortunately, he gets the angle wrong. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him just take the maze normally now, because we would have to go all the way back down into the dark basement.
E for effort for Gonzspor, to be sure.
So Dark Maze, we got a green potion. That's item number 3 for Palace of Darkness. Vulajin is working his way towards that area now, killing a couple things on his way. And red rupee, 1 more item available in Palace of Darkness. Could be in this big chest, could be in Helmasaur, or it's potentially in the front half.
Well, we know it's not the big chest, as that just had our map for this dungeon. Just in case you weren't 100% sure on how to route it now, he's gonna go ahead and turn in this key. So we'll need to check some of these chests here to get King Helmasaur access again.
Yeah, now he's bombing this side, but unfortunately without a key, this is kind of just muscle memory at work. You can't get to this vanilla big key chest, so he's just gonna have to hop down right away. Now this is most likely a small key in this chest. There's at least 1 small key in this or the bridge chest. There's 1. Now, if the bridge chest is a small key, then that means that the vanilla big key chest has an item in it, which might be the compass, or it might be a real item. Or the real item could be on the bridge, or the real item could be in Gonzspor. It's a randomizer, it's crazy. Gonzspor is gonna, take care of business and make sure it's not gonna get left behind. So we'll be clearing this out. We'll see what the arrangement actually was soon. Alright, key for a key there. Gonzspor's had now opened all the doors in this dungeon except for one, so this is the last key. And we'll get our item soon, either in this next chest or on the way. Vula's grabbed that power glove now. It's going to be heading through the rest of the pod. And there's the compass, so Helma's got the item.
Gonzspor going to fill up his health, hopefully maybe set up a sword beam so he can activate the switch in the upcoming room after descending downstairs. Going to be pushing the statue, of course, to be able to proceed.
Yeah, it's always nice when you can do this without having to menu, particularly because they don't have the greatest health. I mean, they have better stats than you would in NMG here since they have the blue mail, but Helmasaur can be a little scary when you're a little bit light on weaponry without a better sword than master or silver arrows to make that second phase go fast, but should be feeling pretty okay here, and kept those sword beams for the basement, so we can skip that menu.
Absolutely. It's really not so much the threat of King Helmasaur, it's the threat of, oh my gosh, if I die here, I'm losing like 2 to 3 minutes. So, dying at King Helmasaur is not good, and it's probably that fear that really lends people to be a little bit more conservative than they may otherwise would be.
Alright, so Vula's cleaned up the front half of the pod, and we'll be heading to the back now. Gets that crystal flipped with a sword beam, using that full health to his advantage. And Gonzspor doing battle with this turtle room, gets them all down. We'll be on to the boss fight soon. Dude, Vula's having like some weird run-in with this bridge. Fell off twice there, but fortunately you can reset this room pretty fast and was able to get through now. Gonzspor plinking away at Helmasaur's mask. This thing is pretty sturdy, it takes a lot of hammer hits to get it down, and we'll switch to the bow now because you can fire this faster than you can slash the Master Sword. Gets a couple hits in. Helmasaur becomes a lot scarier in this phase, but he's cooperating pretty nicely until that last moment, but Gonzspor gets the thing dead, and we'll be collecting our last item in pod. I mean, we didn't really get too much to actually progress with here, so is this something good? No, it's a bomb upgrade. Well, actually I lied, we got the power glove. That's huge progression. What am I talking about?
Yeah, well, it's a long haul to get through pods, so I don't blame you for forgetting that minor detail. But yeah, very nice of King Helma there to have very little lateral movement, allowing Gonzspor to get those arrow shots in with very little difficulty there. So very nicely done by Gonzspor. Meanwhile, Vulajin getting his items out of the Dark Maze, the green goo included. And it looks like Gonzspor is going to go ahead and complete what he started here in Eastern with the ability to take care of the Armos Knights.
Yeah, and this is an interesting call here too. I'll be curious to see if Vula makes the same one. Both players do know that Armos is holding an item, and you're never going to be closer to Eastern than you are right now, so how much do you value that item versus just skipping out on this couple-minute check and heading out to the Dark World? This could be either a big point where Vulajin, if he makes a different decision, could catch up sometime, or could really be burned by this skip. Vula's going to Death Warp. Well, I mean, he has the mirror. You could say, why didn't he mirror? It's faster, but his health was pretty low, so maybe taking the Death Warp so you don't have to go through low health bottom of pot is a smart play.
Yep, it does set you with only 3 hearts away to full, which can be replenished there under those 3 pods. So whether that led to his decision, I don't know, but it's certainly a nice convenient outcome to be sure. Gonzspor ascending up Eastern Palace here, and we'll be encountering the Armos Knights here. He probably wants to pick up just a few more arrows just to be safe, but shouldn't be in that much trouble once Armos is encountered here.
Yeah, that's true. I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe just the 5 guaranteed arrows in this pod in the next stream. may or may not go for some of the extra ones in the next room after this here. But it has 26 arrows now. I guess you'd need to spend at least another 4 on these Igors, but you do only need 18 arrows for our most knights if all goes well, but you don't want to get yourself into that situation where you have to slash the last one to death. It's not fun. So pretty good setup. Gonspor's got that one last innermost set up at 1 health, so it will die without turning red if it all goes well, and manages to pull it off. Grabs Ether for his trouble. That, well, we don't know yet, but that could be pretty significant.
Well, both medallion dungeons are crystals, so there is a decent chance that that could be one of the 2 medallions. Only time will tell, and Vulajin is indeed going to got himself back to full health and utilizing that Master Sword Beam to flip that switch without having to flip the items around. And it looks like Gonzspor is restarting his game here back at Link's house. Probably going to be taking this warp to the south here. Maybe going to be checking Stumpy and the digging game potentially.
Yeah, since they have the Mire, they can get the south of Grove Cave in as well. I think that's pretty much all that they could do here. So maybe trying to avoid, going in at Village of Outcasts and having to do that walk around to the Lost Woods. I know that's not the most fun way to get into the Dark World, but looking likely that they might have to do that eventually once the Titansmiths show up momentarily.
Yeah, sometimes you must do what needs to be done if the seed that's all the seed gives you. So we'll see if that we'll see if indeed that comes to pass here. Gonzspor is going to go ahead and check these item locations here in the southwestern Dark World spots. Stumpy, K45, and Digging Game are right next on his agenda.
And that was a nice Helmasaur fight for Vulajin there. You actually got a double hit spin on it because it was pushed right up against the wall, so you only needed another 4 Master Slashes afterwards. So Gonzspor gets nothing from Stumpy of any significance. Vula's finished that dungeon up, and this is going to be a big decision point. Does he go into Eastern for Ether, or does he say, West Dark World is open, that's where I'm going? Bloomerang there. Gonzspor thinking about it for a moment, and Vula is gonna skip out of finishing Pendant Eastern.
Yeah, well, we have no idea whether that's a good or a bad move for Vulajin. We'll just have to, much later, once we determine what these medallion dungeons require. Of course, we need Titansmiths for that, so that's quite a ways away. But only time will tell whether that was a favorable move for Vula or not.
Yep, so Gonzspor getting the last bit of South Dark World checked here in the digging game. We gotta dig 1 to 30 times here, see if we can get anything good. Vula's gonna opt for the entrance up by Village of Outcasts, so we'll be able to maybe check Skull Woods, get a look at Thieves Town, head on down through Village of Outcasts. There's a lot of items up here, and having the cape as well. Oh, Fire Rod hanging out in the digging game.
20-second dig presenting the Fire Rod. Very good find for Gonzspor. Now, opens up some Skullwoods potential here, but outside of that, nothing immediately groundbreaking there. It looks like Gonzspor is going to do a warp here. Let's see where he decides to go from here.
Yeah, I'm guessing he's walking up to that portal in Village Outcast, and I actually miscalled what Vula was going for. The other option is Death Mountain with that Power Glove. So this opens a fairly large amount of locations with the Mire in hand. Get up to Tower of Hera, you can head over and grab Paradox Cave and Spiral Cave. So that could be pretty good.
And it looks like the old man getting something out of his closet for Link there. Now red mail for Vulajin. Gotta imagine Gonzspor will be collecting that at some point, but for the time being, Vulajin has a little bit of an armor advantage, but shouldn't be that big of a deal at this point. But it is must be nice for Vulajin to have that ultimate of safety at this point.
Yeah, it's pretty good. They could use some more hearts, would be nice, but 8 hearts red mail is pretty comfortable. The only trouble is any bosses that don't ignore your mail, like Blind or... Oh my goodness, Spectacle Rock is loaded. That's the boots inside Spectacle Rock with Quake sitting on top.
Looks like this Death Mountain play is paying out huge for Vula thus far. Let's see where Gonzspor did decide to take the long way around to get to Village of Outcasts. Let's see if the village has anything of immediate value for Gonzspor here.
Yeah, we'll get a couple checks in here quickly. Opting not to do Skullwoods just yet. Vula's gonna grab these boots naturally. As soon as you see them, you just go for it. And hey, there's the book for Gonzspor. Vula's gonna try this bomb jump out of Spectral Rock here. This is not the easiest bomb jump. You kind of have to wedge yourself in the wall to get the distance to go over. He likes his position, he sets down the bomb, and he gets knocked out, so it's a nice little time save there.
Very nicely done by Vulajin. And speaking of bombs, we have the bombable hut for Gonzspor coming up here.
Yep, books so far in Village of Outcasts. And oh my gosh, there's the powder, which is immediately check. No, it's... Wait, yes, it is immediately checkable because they don't need the Titans meant to get there. They have the hammer. Willie grabs that Quake on Spectral Rock. Gonzspor took a look and was like, oh wait, I maybe need Mitt. Maybe wants to come back later when having the Mitt. Could check powder if you were persistent about it, but... Wow. There's a Cane of Burner. It's all items. There's none of this, like, 20 rupees stuff.
Yeah, what is this? This is very unusual for Village of Outcasts in my experience, and it looks like Vulajin is relegated to the Tower of Hera basement. See if Vulajin gets to take a little bit of a respite here.
Yeah, looks like he's setting up the bomb so that he'll be able to get his iframes on this block, and he just gets a bit of a break while these tiles smash into the wall. It's always kind of a relief when you're forced into Hera basement here, it being a crystal and the big key being down here, because you know your opponent will not gamble and skip it and potentially save a couple minutes. Gonzspor making some progress into Thieves Town, grabs a shovel.
So practically all fetch quest items have been revealed at this point. Mushroom at Lumberjack Ledge, Gonzspor getting the shovel out of Thieves Town. So whether those lead to anything of relative value or just red herrings, once again, we'll just have to wait and see.
Yep, so Vula's lighting up these lamps here, get this big key for Hera, and both runners have a pretty clear path laid out for them here. Although, with Thieves Town being a pendant, and hey, Flipper's showing up in Thieves Town, I have to wonder if Gonzspor was going to continue or not, but looks like Gonzspor wants more out of Thieves Town. It is green, so it's pretty enticing to just finish this off now.
Yeah, especially with the hammer in possession, you would not have to no threat of a double dip here, presuming you can take care of this all in one go. So certainly understand the reasoning behind wanting to go ahead and get this completely cleared, get it out of the back of your mind.
Yep, so Vula picks up Bombos in Hera, so we know where all the medallions are, but whether or not Ether is going to be required could be a very big point in this race. There's lots of stuff open, and it will be forever until Vulajin goes back to Pendant Eastern. So for his sake, you can hope that Ether is not required, but, you know, we'll see. Oh man, Vula on this Moldorm fight. Gets 2 spins in, so it should just be one more spin or a hammer hit, and Moldorm will be down. And... oh no, I guess one of those was not a spin, it was a poke. So Moldorm was going fast, but he manages to hang on and take down the worm. So there goes Moldorm, and the last bit of thing in Hera is a compass, because apparently he already got 2 items.
Yeah, so for Vulajin's sake, he's basically, he doesn't realize this, but we know that he's basically hoping for 2 successful 2 out of 3s, basically. And a little bit of math here, it looks like there's about a 44% chance, probability-wise, that Ether is not required. So we'll see. We'll see if he gets lucky here. Has some minor luck and avoids that Ether downfall.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say we'll find out about Turtle Rock soon, but we won't because he doesn't have the bits. Unless they show up in Paradox Cave. I've seen that once or twice. But Gonzspor, venturing through the end of Thieves Town. I know we've seen the shovel and the flippers here. I don't think any of the other items were interesting. I don't know the exact count of real items remaining. There's that small key.
There's Flute and Spiral Cave for Vulajin. A huge find right out of the gate here in Death Mountain, in the Eastern Death Mountain, rather.
Death Mountain is huge so far. Like, I can't believe how much both players are finding. Gonzspor with Village of Outcasts having so much stuff in it, and Death Mountain as well. It's just completely loaded. Like, so many items in overworld locations. It's crazy. More progression through Paradox Cave Village and finding not much of anything in those 2 chests there, but there's 5 coming up, which all have the potential to maybe be something good.
Yeah, I would have to think Vula is hoping for Titan's Bits to be able to go ahead and do some Dark World East Death Mountain while you're up here would definitely be convenient, but so far just some love.
Yeah, not too surprising to see not much in anything, but oh, there's the King of Smarria and the Titan's Mitts, are you kidding me? Holy smokes, that's so good for him.
Cha-ching! Vulajin getting some huge payouts out of Death Mountain. This is absurd.
The last 2 chests, I thought, okay, surely he'll have to go to the Village of Outcasts and get the like 5 items that were waiting there, but no. He's got East Dark Death Mountain, and even the potential to enter Turtle Rock already, although without that fire rod down from digging game, that will be most likely a short trip if he does decide to go in.
Meanwhile, Gonzspor successfully dealing with blind and getting a green pendant for his troubles. We'll see how quickly that takes for Gonzspor to go ahead and attempt to turn that in. We got Vulajin now entering the Super Bunny Cave, utilizing the mirror to make those blocks magically disappear.
You know, they see their reflection and they realize they're actually vampires, so they're out of there. Gonzspor heading up now. Maybe looks like some Skull Woods coming into play here. Vula, Super Bunny Cave, getting 2 red things. One was shield and one was just 20 bucks.
I was almost expecting a hook shot there, given the way that this Death Mountain has been so far for Vula, but not to happen this time. Maybe in that first bonkable chest, who knows?
Oh, okay, Vula's going to take a look at the Turtle Rock Medallion first here, and it's going to be Quake, so 1 bullet dodged. Ether only could be required for Mire now.
Looks like Vula is going to bonk his way to the first chest here.
Taking care of business on that slime jellyfish deal, making sure it won't knock him off. Gets just 20 bucks and is going to save and quit off of there. You know, I guess he could have opted to go to Spike Cave at that point, but it's a pretty long check and can be a bit of a pain, so he's just going to opt out of that for now.
Understand. We got the big key there for Gonzspor, so Gonzspor would be able to bomb jump over if so desired to get that big key checked right now.
Yeah. First, gonna reset his save position from the looks of things, or oh no, he maybe doesn't like the bomb jump. Maybe not feeling good about it. There's only 5 bombs because Gonzspor hasn't checked the stun prize in this seed and doesn't know that it's 8 bombs, or just doesn't feel good about that bomb jump in general, and is gonna opt for this, which is a far better decision than falling in the pit 5 times.
Absolutely. Yeah, without the boots, that bomb jump presents a little bit more difficulty than otherwise would be with the ability to do a bonk back. But just getting the compass out of the mid chest, and Gonzspor will be on. See if he decides to go into the back half with that fire rod.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see it at this point. A couple bottles in hand. I think, yeah, they do have a red potion, so, I mean, Mothula can be pretty scary regardless of what your male status is, but I think with this amount of health and a red potion, it will feel pretty good. And here we go. Vula did not check Lumberjack at the start of the game, but he's going to look. No, he's not even going to look. We got the blind Lumberjack.
Let's see how quickly he flutes to 2 after this.
Well, I think he has to go activate it still, right?
Oh, that's right, yes.
Getting that mushroom. Oh, that's so funny. Like, with the hammer, Kena Samaria mushroom in hand, maybe before you turn it in, you just go do fake powder. Of course, we know powder is sitting in the Village of Outcasts, but, you know, Vula doesn't know that, so he can get an extra location out of the way, potentially.
And Gonzspor leaving nothing to chance in that statue pulling room, utilizing the Ether Medallion to clear out that room and having free reign to, unfortunately, only collect 20 rupees for all that.
Yeah, we'll use that powder, grab a fairy from under that pot, skull thing, whatever. So, Vula playing that flute, and we will be airborne pretty soon.
That jelly having no regard for its existence, bonking itself into that spike. Gonzspor getting that key, and we'll be on the way towards Amothula.
Yeah, so we'll fluting away. We'll see where he opts to go now. There's a huge amount of options open to him, I think in particular, and we're gonna find out immediately how significant Eastern is, because this is gonna be a check of the Mire area, taking a look at the shed and the medallion. The medallion is Bombos.
Bombos. So Vula doesn't realize it, but gets incredibly fortunate.
Yeah, that is a huge deal. That would hold him up for so long if Ether was required, but it's not going to be required for him to go back to Pen Eastern, unless there's something on the pedestal. So he's dodged a big bullet there, and mirroring to Desert now. Okay, Desert seems like a pretty good play. I mean, completable crystal dungeon that's in the light world. Why the heck not? Might do Mire afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't even be boots locked at this point either. So Desert is free, open for business for Vulajin here. And let's see, gonna go ahead and check that torch right off the bat. And it would not have been boots locked with a map. Getting a nice saute there on the torch.
Yeah, I'm not sure how well you can read that thing after it's been on there, but you know, who looks at these maps anyways? Alright, so here comes Gonzspor's Mothula fight, getting that spin off early, which definitely counted, and then a fire rod hit, which may have counted. A couple slashes in the middle. Mothula's being pretty nice and not sticking to spikes, but getting a couple hits off. Both Moth and Gonzspor at low health, and Gonzspor's not going to take any chances. Gets the potion out and drinks it before dying, so good job. And then finishes Moth off one hit later.
We'll see if that expenditure of that potion leads to anything. Vulajin still has that potion at his disposal for any further difficulties, but so Vulajin now checking the right side here. We're looking for 2 items in this dungeon.
Yeah, and first we're going to find the bug net, which is likely not to see any use in this seed. Next we will see the compass, so I'm guessing the last one hanging out on Landmo, and that's where Vula's heading now.
Yep, Landmo would have to be defeated anyway, so not a huge deal. We do have a ped check from Gonzspor, just some couch cash, so Gonzspor is going to take to the advice and move right along.
Yep. Oh no, the mirror portal. Well, actually, does he even want the mirror portal anymore? I think he's done with Skullwood, so walking down this way is actually a little bit faster than walking backwards to Skull.
Getting mugged on the way back, unfortunately, but other than that, not a huge deal. That portal got taken up by the geometry.
Yeah, so we'll be heading back to the Dark World here. I don't think Gonzspor has taken a look at Bumper Cave, potentially, or the Graveyard Ledge, so that might be what the play is now. And he's heading that way, so that could be what's going on right now. Vula's going to be stepping into this Landmo fight shortly. Doesn't have the greatest weaponry to deal with this. No silvers, no fire rod, no ice rod even. So it's going to be a mix of potentially arrows and master spins and slashes. Looks like arrows will be weapon at number 1. Landmo giving Vula the business a little bit on that first cycle, and Vula says, okay, spinning.
Yep, opting to spin to win here for Vula. A little too early on that first shot. That's very tricky timing, to be sure.
I'm always super impressed by, you know, any person who runs NMG and like does this fight well, because it's so hard to hit consecutive arrows on these things. You watch like great runners go at it, and it's cool as smokes. But Vula, you know, using the Master Sword is pretty good. In NMG, of course, you only have the Fighter's Sword at the time that you fight this boss, so it's far less effective. But Vula takes down the worms and be rewarded with another bomb.
Meanwhile, Gonzspor is what we know doing a very good play now, starting his ascent up Death Mountain. The longer he went without going to Death Mountain was only going to extend the advantage that Vulajin has. Gonzspor getting the red mail and will be on his way towards Tower of Hera and beyond, where, as we know, there's quite the collection to be had there.
Yeah, boots, flute, mitt, Kina Samaria. That's just wow, so good. And Gonzspor even has potentially some more options open here. Having the fire rod already means A Turtle Rock dip is definitely possible. We know Quake's a medallion, but it's right here on Spectacle Rock. So Gonspor is going to have everything to go into Turtle Rock, just shy of that Ice Rod to actually finish the dungeon.
Yeah, no wonder progression was hard to come by in the early stages. It's all up here in Death Mountain. So in any case, Gonspor going to go ahead and get those boots that he found. And looks like Vulajin's going to go ahead and take the dive into Mire.
Yeah, once again, a fully completable crystal. His weaponry not the best for this. It's going to be a bit of a slow Vitreous fight without having silvers or at least the Tempered Sword, but should be able to handle it. Arrows do pretty good damage to the eyeballs. So Gonspor gets that boots pickup, and he's going to be heading out. Well, Vula will get some progression through Mire. We'll see 2 items, and we'll see if anything's good.
Vula using these sword beams to his advantage here, clearing out the room 2 here of Mire with relative speed here. Very nicely done, and retains his sword beams for further use as well.
Yeah, just to respond to a question in chat there, Vula did check Desert Ledge way back at the start of the seed when he went down to Agita's cave, so he knows what's on it and deemed that it wasn't useful, so I'm assuming Piece of Heart or something like that. It wasn't just a random skip.
Now, Gonspor does have the book, so he'll be able to get the Ether tablet checked here, and unfortunately only getting a Piece of Heart, so that could have led to some huge digression there, but unfortunately just one of the 24 heart pieces for Gonspor out of that tablet.
Yeah, that's true. And it kind of goes to show you how much Death Mountain opened this seed up, because we're sitting at an hour in, and Vulajin has not yet gone to Village of Outcasts and picked up that book.
Ah, that's right.
Shovel and flippers and all that stuff. Like, it seems crazy, but you have so much other access that you can put it off for quite some time.
Yeah, while there were items to be had there, nothing of immediate progression, just some sort of, just other potential things like the book and minor conveniences like the Cane of Berna and such. But yeah, all the big time items are up here on the mountain. So.
Alright, so Vula's got pretty much all the Mire keys. 3 sitting in his inventory, although I think there's still 1 in a chest somewhere because Mire is made of keys. And we'll be getting a look at what the right side of Mire has waiting for us here. As Gonspor is doing this forced Hera basement, grab the big key and then head on up.
There's one of the 2 items in Mire being another Piece of Heart. So Vulajin, we're looking for this big key and ideally the second item as well. Maybe it's going to be a vanilla big key, as it seems to be so often.
Yeah, not having the Fire Rod, Vula has to actually do this block puzzle. Normally you see people just push that 1 block and then shoot the Fire Rod through it. For a second I was like, what is he doing? Why is he doing this? But that Fire Rod, sitting in Digging Game, not too well hidden, but like we said, he hasn't had cause to go there yet because there's so many options open.
I'm sure Vulajin was asking, why am I doing this as well? But got to do what you got to do once again here. So, and that is a side effect of leaving Village of Outcasts unchecked, leaving that Fire Rod buried in the 22nd dig. So we'll see. And there's Bombos for Gonspor. And there was a dungeon item there, but not the big key. It was instead the compass for Vulajin.
Yeah, so I think that narrows things down. There's only 1 chest left for the big key to be in Mire. And that's going to be over on the right side here. And Vula will be able to check the big key chest and head on down to Vitreous Gonspor. Entering this Moldorm fight now. We'll see how this goes. This is definitely not the nicest boss. Gets a Master Slash off to start things off, and gets beat up against the wall there, but using that hold the sword and hold into the platform strat, manages to stay on. 1 more spin will do it, and there goes the worm.
And Mire, unfortunately, a relative dud with just a Piece of Heart and bombs as your 2 items. Vulajin checking that last chest. Perhaps he wasn't aware of his count, but in any case, getting that last small key, and will be on his way to a rather cumbersome Vitreous fight.
Yeah, I had actually missed that. He already had the big key before he even went to the right side. He was still looking for it. But Mire's clear now, and he'll be on to Vitreous. Just has to finish this off. Whereas Gonzspor heading over to East Death Mountain, gonna find all the goodies, Flute and Titan Spin, awaiting in Paradox Cave, and Kina Samaria. I guess Flute was in Spiral, so, you know, close enough, though. East Death Mountain's loaded.
Yeah, for sure. Gonzspor also getting the check on the island, which is just another heart container, which that might be of interest to Gonzspor. Gonzspor's still only on, looks like 8 hearts, which that is a decent amount, but you'd certainly like to have a little bit more at some point, especially an hour and 5 minutes in.
Yeah, fortunately, they do have mail, which makes things a lot easier. And having Blind and Mothula out of the way, they don't need to worry about these cheating bosses that ignore your mail. But, as you say, more than 8 hearts is definitely nice, particularly when you get towards the Gauntlet again, its tower.
So Gonzspor taking the dive, doing the typical Paradox Cave routing here, and we'll be very pleased with the results. Meanwhile, Vulajin is about to get his Vitreous fight underway.
Yeah, it looks like Vula's going to start out with the cape, probably some cape spins with the Master Sword. Won't be able to kill all the eyes this way, but manages to get some damage in. And he does have to be a little careful with his health here. He's going to damage boost a bit, get some extra hits in, but you got to not get hit by any of the guys directly, because that can be painful. He's on 1 health, but he's going to use that red potion here, so that's where he opted to do it. Gonzspor and burn that on Mothula. Maybe be switching to bow now, but is going to go for 1 more spin, which almost finishes off that last set of eyes. Just brute forcing, you know, getting through that fight, using a bunch of health to do it fast. That's how you do it. And there's the arrows to the eyeball. That's got a sting. There goes Vitreous.
And routing out the Mire collection with the map. Meanwhile, Gonzspor nicely bomb jumping across the gap to go right back up here. Now, with the Titan's mitts, I'm surprised that he's going back up here. I figured he would want to make a beeline for this, but it looks like he's going to go ahead and take the opportunity to activate the Turtle Rock Warp at this moment.
Yeah, coming in from the top of Super Bunny Cave can be a little bit quicker, and he knows he can open TR because he has every medallion without having looked at it. And I think Gonzspor's got to be thinking about taking a trip into TR here. Probably do Super Bunny first in hopes of finding the Ice Rod there, but you're up here already. There's a lot of items in there, and you know you leave Death Mountain not having gone in, and then you just have to wonder maybe the Ice Rod was there, but do I check it, or do I check everything else in the world?
Looks like Gonzspor just content on opening up the door at this moment. We'll see if he goes back in that direction after bonking over to this one chest and hookshot cave.
Alright, so Vula's getting the goodies out of Village of Outcasts, which was also stacked. Holy smokes, there's some really big clusters of items in that seat. So there's the book out of the chest game, and coming up soon is Cane of Samaria, and there's something else. Powder, I think. Powder's down here in Kina Samaria with Sea House, I think.
Yeah, we think the Burnicane and Powder is what's left in the docket here in the Outcast. Now, just trying to take a look here and see where Gonzspor can possibly make a little bit of can reclaim a chance at winning this thing. It's really the Green Pendant, I think. If Green Pendant pays out, particularly with an Ice Rod or something of equal value, that could possibly. Now, Vula is now entering Thieves Town. We'll see if he goes ahead and completes it like Gonzspor has done previously, but that's the one thing Gonzspor currently has up on Vulajin at this point.
Yeah, that knowledge as well of Ether being at the end of Eastern, like, if they get stuck in a long hunt for the Ice Rod, then Vula might be thinking of going back there, but you know, we'll just have to see how it is. And Gonzspor also going to do a bit of a divergence here. Vula did not check Spike Cave. Gonzspor not willing to go into T-Rock this early on. I mean, well, I say it's early on. We're pretty far into the seed, but we still have a few items left to find. Without having the Ice Rod can be a little scary. Well, that paid off. Tempered in Spike Cave. That's going to be a nice time save on a couple of these upcoming boss fights for Gonzspor.
Absolutely. That's a very nice find. Not necessarily a progression, but a certain improvement on your offensive output for Gonzspor, to be sure. Meanwhile, Vulajin continuing his pilfering of Village of Outcast. Vulajin opting not to complete Thieves Town, so we'll see if this if Sahasrara is carrying of anything of value here. That could prove very significant in Gonspor's favor.
Yeah, and this is interesting stuff. Vula, like, cutting out some of these checks. He got that shovel and the flippers from Thieves Town. He's gonna go down to digging game now to get the fire rod. So he's getting lots of items. But as you say, if Sahasrara matters, Vula's kind of leaving a couple one-offs for himself behind here and there. Gonzspor checking the bonk rocks. I don't know if we had seen this before, but it's got a shield upgrade in there.
Yeah, I'm not sure if one of Vulajin's 2 shield upgrades was at the bonk rocks or not. I think that is the first time we've seen that check. Vulajin getting his fire rod. And Gonzspor, red mail, mirror shield. He certainly got the look of finishing this thing, but unfortunately is going to need a few more items to make that a reality.
Yeah, so there's the flute activation. Vula's got that fire rod and looks to be finishing up the overworld here. Having the Titan's Mitt and the mirror already at this point means this can be super efficient. I don't think Vula's gone to these South Dark World locations aside from Hive Cave at all. Having the book, mirror, everything you could want. This is a lot of overworld checks that managed to get done all together. So we'll see if something's here, but it's possible that it's now just buried in potentially other dungeons. A hookshot in swamp is in the cards, and that could be pretty nasty.
Interesting. Gonzspor went to buy potions, but that mushroom is still sitting on that lumberjack ledge. So Gonzspor will leave that mushroom be for now. And is going to be checking the Mire shed and getting the 2 items there.
Vula got that mushroom, but did he ever turn it in?
I want to say no.
I feel like we would have paid special. Yeah, there it is, sitting in his inventory.
We're going to get a magic bat check in the meantime for Vulajin.
Yeah, getting all this stuff out of the way, this last cluster of overworld.
Not sure why the magic bat was so picky there on those powder sprinkles, but eventually gets it activated there, and we have just a heart container for the little dusting.
Yeah, so it looks like Gonzspor is going to be going for a very sensible play of dew crystals, which you can complete, and that's going to mean Desert and Mire will be going down in quick succession. And we know that there wasn't anything interesting in this area, so Vula's going to be trailblazing a bit, doing these overworld checks, see if something pays off, but only looking for Ice Rod and Hookshot at this point. Gotta wonder, are they actually going to be available, or are they maybe buried in Ice Palace?
Pendant Dungeon Burial would be rather rude, but not beyond the call for these version 25 seeds, to be sure. See what Cave 45 has. I believe the Gonzspor has already checked this.
I feel like he had. Yeah, he definitely did, because he went up here early and got the fire rod, but they had the mirror like before entering Dark World. So.
Yes, I recall Gonzspor having a little indecision whether to pick up that rang, but leaving it there like Vulajin, and Vulajin is going to be moving on towards turning in this purple chest.
Yeah. Now that I look, they also have Pyramid Fairy access. It was Hera and Pod, which were the
I recall. So, Chat mentioned that, and the waterfall as well. I believe has been checked. So both fairy locations still wide open for perusal.
Oh yeah, you're right. Because Vula fake flippered without having Moon Pearl earlier on in the seed, and I don't think Gonzspor has used flippers for any of the swimming, because the seed's been pretty nice in terms of giving you a lot of options, but now we're into that situation. You get in rando, you're looking for those last couple items. It's like, well, I got 50 locations to check. Which one is it going to be?
Yeah, it's nice to get a lot of progression all at once, but that blessing can quickly turn into a curse when you have a couple of key items being as elusive as these Ice Rod and hook shots are at this point. So see if the purple chest provides any relief in that regard. Not so much.
Yeah, it's not surprising that we get into this period of looking for items and finding a lot of nothing, because all of the items were in Village of Outcasts and on Death Mountain. There's a ridiculous amount of stuff there, so...
Yeah, the seat has been relative periods of feast or famine for the most part. Let's see if Bombos has anything. Yet another big 20. There's only 28 of those in the item pool. I can't believe they're coming across so many of them.
Avula's gonna flute away from here. I thought maybe he was gonna arc this all the way into Pyramid Fury as well, but he's got other things in mind. Probably thinking about that mushroom now after having used the powder. So we're gonna see. Well, Aga was required for Dark World access. Was Aga also required for the mushroom turret? Avula taking a look right now. Nope.
Let's see if he goes to do the shovel as well.
Actually, he put that in with that. So.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
In the mirror real quick. Probably a Skull Woods right now. The classic Crystal Icon complete. It's basically the best thing you can do at any given time. The possible exception of putting off Ice or Swamp because their non-go mode versions are so painful. But we do know that Vula's not going to find anything here, and Gonzspor is going to do Mire most likely right now, and then also not find anything. So we've got a little bit of a break now before anything interesting is going to take place.
Yeah, both of our runners crossing paths that the other has forged. So these runners obviously don't know that they are going to be coming up empty in these respective locations. It's only going to lead to further frustration, I can only imagine, and possibly an impending feeling of dread of having to dive potentially into a pendant location, or maybe do a gutsy TR gamble possibly as well.
Yeah, that TR gamble's definitely in the cards right now, and we find ourselves in a pretty interesting situation in the race at the moment, because Vula has a bit of a lead, I think, in terms of things he's actually done, because he's going to be done Skullwoods long before Gonzspor's done. Mire's just way longer, but Gonzspor has been more thorough and left less stuff behind. Notably, finishing up Thieves Town, which still has an unchecked green pendant available, and having finished, things like Eastern Palace, so it doesn't have to worry about some of these one-offs. And with the way this is looking, it could come down to that kind of race where you just have to backtrack and clear out all of the remaining spots where you look for where that Ice Rod, or in this case, Hookshot, is hiding. So I think as these runners reach the conclusions of their respective dungeons, Vulajin coming up on the end of Skullwood soon, although I think he'll probably have to go back and clear a couple other chests, because I believe he skipped out of checking all of the items in the front half, hoping that maybe Moth has it and he can get out of here. There's a decision coming up, and it's basically Turtle Rock, Ice Palace, or Swamp. Only completable one being Ice Palace, but that's the pendant.
Yeah, it's really kind of almost like a pick your poison type scenario here, and just hope that wherever you decide, just preference, logic, whatever parameters you use to make your decision, leads you in that direction that gets you what you need. It's at some point it comes down to what do you know, RNG. So we'll see where Vulajin decides to go immediately after collecting his crystal from Skull.
Yeah. Kind of playing off something that was said in chat about Ice Rod being on left side Swamp, you could do that if you wanted to be really mean, and then put the Hookshot hanging out on Trinex. Ugh, no thanks. Vula's gonna get that pen check in, find out that it's just Coach Cash, so he's spared from having to go back to Eastern Thieves now, potentially, for the time being.
Gonzspor getting the Mire big key chest revealed and did not have to worry about any block puzzles. That's some minor savings for Gonzspor there. And it looks like Vulajin is this going to be a Spike Cave check for Vula?
Hammer right now indicates that is what it is, so he wants to get some of these one-off locations out of the way. Spike Cave is never going to get faster, but actually he's walking to the right, so I don't know what the hammer's for, but maybe going to be heading over to East Step Fountain instead, which might be a play on Turtle. What?
I think this is he's deciding whether to do Ether or Spike Cave. I think. I don't know. He could mirror to Ether, so I'm not sure if that is actually what's going on here after all. But both of those are things that have not been checked that Gonzspor has gone ahead and cleared. So I presume that that's what's going through Vulajin's mind at this point.
Yeah, Ether into Spike Cave would make sense, and now he's switching to the mirror, so the issue has been resolved. Ether then Spike Cave. Get some of this stuff out of the way. You always pretty much save and quit out of Spike Cave. So make sure that there's nothing here, and then put off the decision until later. We could also see Pyramid Fairy. What's happening? He's not going to Ether.
Is this a TR dive we're seeing?
It's actually TR after all. Oh my god. Google's faking us all out, dude. Oh, right! Okay, I understand now. I thought he was just gonna hookshot over. Of course, he doesn't have the hookshot. No kidding. That's what was going on with this death match.
Oh yeah. Yes. Taking the usually when you're an hour and 20 minutes in, you just kind of start taking that hookshot assumption for granted that you have it, but not so much to see revoking that right. So Vulajin is warping to the top of Turtle Rock here, and is going to open the door. Let's see if he decides to walk on through it.
Yeah, this can be a really big deal here. I mean, there's not much else for him to do in Dark Death Mountain, so this is the T-Rock play. He's hoping that either the Ice Rod or the Hookshot is hanging out in here. Either one of them, pretty mean trolls, but if you want to avoid going to Ice Palace or a Hookshotless Swamp, then this is what you do. And man, if there's something here, that's going to be great for Vula, but if there's not, this is going to be a big time sink that Gonzspor could definitely use to his advantage. Okay, there's the hook shot.
Well, that's part one. Now, if Ice Rod is like somewhere like Mimic Cave or something crazy like that, then holy crap. But already a huge payout for Vulajin here with this dive.
Yeah, and that opens up Swamp Palace. I think at this point, even if he goes through Turtle Rock to the Laser Bridge and does not find the Ice Rod, the fact that he has Hookshot and can lead him into Swamp and complete a Crystal, potentially skipping that Pendant Ice, could be huge in this one. Nice quick menu from Vula there to get the fast strat on this Torch Room as well. He'll be heading up through the rest of Turtle Rock. We'll see one key coming up here and maybe something else. Turtle Rock does have a lot of items in there, so there's a key and another key.
Nice Burna item dashes to make those rollers a complete non-issue. Does expend his magic, but luckily there is a guaranteed full magic pot right there. So Vulajin will proceed on towards further into Turtle Rock here, about to encounter some chain chomps.
Yeah, Gonzspor had a nice Vitreous fight in the meantime, using some cape tempered damage to take it out fast, and definitely had a faster fight than Vula in that regard. That upgraded sword makes a huge difference since tempered hits twice as hard as Master. It's much better for that fight. Comes Vula's chain chomps. Chain chomps are annoying as heck, and now that one's going to camp where the block is.
Oh wow. My gosh.
It's a good thing he has red mail too. These things do so much damage.
Yeah, even with red mail, these things hit like a truck, and it looks like we have Gonzspor is going to make an ice dive.
Okay, this is pretty big here. I mean, if...
Or maybe not.
Oh, he never did the swimming, right? He's never used the flipper. He's had them for forever, but there's so much to do.
Maybe parlay this into a waterfall check as well.
Yeah, that's true. Man, there's so much stuff that's still open because it's like the seed was just like, okay, have fun in the dark world. Here's your items.
Well, absolutely going to use this key and check the vanilla big key chest in hopes for even more goods here. But just key for key, yep.
Gonzspor flutes back to 8. Now this could be, it's faster to flute here and then run back. Check Waterfall Cave this way rather than swimming all the way down if you do have that flute available. So that's what Gonzspor is up to. Vula progressing through Turtle Rock in the meantime. So let's take a look. What is Gonzspor going to find here in the Waterfall Cave? Nothing.
A whole lot of nada for the most part.
Oh man, Vula's out of magic, so he has to fight these Pokies with Master Spins, which you can't do the quick kill on them with that. So it's taken a while, but he has no choice. He can't, there's one magic pot in the bottom left, which he'll probably pick up so that he can use it on the later Canis Maria blocks, but I lied, because he's just gonna move on forward. That's okay, because he has a blue potion if need be. Not the best place you would normally want to use a blue potion, just to give yourself magic to do the lower part of T-Rock, but better than backtrack.
And we're going to get a Mimic Cave check here from Vula.
Top Mimic's trying to run away, escaping past the hammer blocks there, but Vula takes care of business, and we've got in Mimic the Ice Strike.
Wow!
Oh my gosh!
Big bucks, no whammies, and Vulajin stops and gets paid huge. That is, I believe we have go mode now.
That's go mode for Vula, coming in at 125, with Turtle Rock having the final answers to the seed. Both the hook shot and the ice rod paying off huge and putting Vulajin in an amazing position for the rest of this race.
That is, yeah, I'm left speechless after all that. Goodness gracious. Vulajin make fortune favoring the bold with this TR dive, and Vulajin has an insane lead at this juncture.
Yeah, it's just huge. All of the things that he skipped ended up not being required. He's gonna burn a green pot there because he needs magic for this next room. So that's fine though. He still has a blue potion waiting in the wings, so no big deal. Gonzspor is gonna do a little bit of overworld. This is some stuff that Vulajin already did, but basically I think the story of the seed is Gonzspor was more thorough here and there, finishing up Thieves Town, finishing up Eastern, stuff like that, and Vulajin just skipped things that ended up not mattering, so now he's in a great position.
Yeah, shuffle these items a different way, and it could be Gonzspor with the huge advantage, but unfortunately, everything, Vulajin could basically do no wrong, it feels like. So, yeah, Vulajin will take this advantage, going to go ahead and reveal this entrance here just as a safety measure, and he does only have Master Sword still, and we'll probably be employing some hammer strats against Trinex, and that can be a little risky with only 5.5 hearts to your name. So it looks like he's going to go ahead and clear out the laser bridge in hopes of finding a sword upgrade or silvers. Yeah,
he does need the small key from here as well, so he's got that, but you definitely check these to find tempered. We know that there is a sword in Spike Cave, and we know that Vulajin won't find it, but that is a fortuitous piece of heart, giving a full repo right now.
Everything coming up Millhouse for Vulajin here. It just everything like I can't help but remind myself of when he was farming for money at Zora and got that red rupee. I mean, everything just coming up in Vulajin's favor here in this race.
Yeah, I mean the last time I can remember something going particularly wrong for Vula was when he died in the escape. And then like after that, it's just like, okay, I'm gonna skip this, it didn't matter. I'm gonna skip that, and it didn't matter. Now it's like, all right. He routed the seed just amazingly well. I know he plays a lot of the simulator for routing practice, so hey, all those gambles paid off. And here's the Hammer Trinex, got 2 hits on the Firehead on that first set. Icehead's gonna be rude and shoot some ice, but the Firehead is dead. Giving a couple shots of fire to the Ice Head to get some extra damage in. Feeling good about his magic amount because he does have a blue potion. If he did run out, it would be okay, but he's got a lot of damage in, and there goes that Ice Head.
Just one last phase of Trinex here. Going to get some spins here, and we'll probably be resorting to the hammer for the final strikes here.
Yep. It's bopped by the head once, but he has plenty of health to work with. He's just trying to get in and close, get some hammer hits, and there goes Trinex. It's dead. Now Vula will have to head down and go to Swamp, but mean, there was no avoiding this amount of Death Mountain climbs in this seed, that's for sure.
And getting the silvers as well.
Oh my word.
So, hey, that falls in line with pretty much everything else Vola has done. So, sure, why not throw silvers at him as well?
If he finds Tempered Sword on Argus, I'm just gonna lose it. It's like everything you could ever want is directly in your path.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take my microphone off and just walk away and go for a walk, I think, at that point. Goodness gracious. Vulajin just doing can do no wrong. Gonzspor checking the shovel spot, getting a 14 part container, and we'll be going on to further pastures here. We know that TR is the play to make here, but Gonzspor certainly not the benefactor of that knowledge at this time.
Yeah, and it looks like Gonzspor is going to go for ice, which in another seed might have been, and by ice, of course, I mean swamp, that other dungeon. In a different seed, that could have been the play, but I lied because there's still almost down, so that's going to be first.
And Vulajin going to do the universally wonderful thing of being able to go mode Swamp Palace here.
Yeah, I don't know the exact times on it, but it feels like Swamp is less than half the length when you go mode it, as opposed to checking every chest. It's so painful, checking every chest in Swamp. And we might see a really unfortunate Swamp from Gonzspor right now, being in the area, and still be looking for that hookshot and Ice Rod. You can go into Swamp and you can check quite a large number of chests, all of the main room and over through to the left side without the hookshot, and that is going to be the play, but it's not going to come up with anything right here.
Yep, the routes are converging, but unfortunately for Gonzspor, that's not what he needs at this point.
The only thing Gonzspor could find of any value would be another sword upgrade, which Vulajin will miss because, well, he might check a couple chests, the very convenient ones, on the way to Argus in the hopes of finding a sword, but, you know, tempered to butter does not make a big difference for Gonzspor, and with this, like, I would every day take, you know, being in go mode and having a dungeon, maybe 2 dungeons lead over having an extra sword, that's for sure.
No question. I have to think Vulajin's got to be feeling like he is on cloud 9 right now. Just the way that everything lined up for him. I can't imagine he doesn't think that he's ahead right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's very possible that his mindset is stuck from the very early parts of this seed where, you know, the escape didn't go that well. But, you know, knowing that he's in go mode now and knowing that he skipped a lot of stuff, I think you're right. I think it's got to feel good. But there's always that inkling doubt. It's like, maybe my opponent did all of this and a little bit better.
Such is one-on-one tournament play here. So Vulajin, we'll see if he does elect to check the stuff en route to Argus here, or if he's just going to make a beeline for Argus here, throwing caution to the wind here. I'm sure Master Sword Silver would be of no issue for Vulajin at this point, but getting tempered would be a nice convenience here, and it does look like Vulajin's going to go ahead and check these 2 items, and will likely check the waterfall room as well, getting just bombs and the big key for his thoroughness.
Yeah, I think these 3 chests are often what you see runners checking go mode if they're looking for attack upgrades, because it's so fast, especially this one coming up. It's like you push the block, you grab the thing, you get an arrow upgrade, you're like, okay, whatever, but, you know, for those times that you find a tempered sword, like I wouldn't be surprised if Vula stays on this sword level as he goes up the gauntlet to grab a couple chests up near the top as he approaches Molnar 2 and Agatia, just in hopes of finding that sword. Because he doesn't know that there was a sword in Spike Cave, so in his mind there's still 2 swords out there for him to find.
Absolutely, and it's going to go ahead and enter the Argus fight here. Doesn't have the temper to do any fancy no-cycle strats here, but should be dispatching Argus here and with relative speed here.
Yep, has to take 2 slashes with the Master Sword. Not as awkward as having to fight this boss with your menu, that being switching between the hookshot and the hammer on every puff, but, you know, you much prefer tempered or butter for this fight. Surprisingly, I know. Who would want to do a fight with a better sword, right?
Well, Gonzspor, while Argus is being dispatched by Vulajin, we have Gonzspor on his way to checking the left side here, and doesn't even have the luxury of the hook shot, so it would be 2 dives to get both of those chests. So further difficulty for Gonzspor here. Vulajin, nice double fire rod there, and a spin slash to finish off Argus. That is the 7th crystal. Vulajin will be en route to Ganon's tower in no time flat.
Yeah, that's some pretty good stuff for Vula. So with him on route to Ganon's tower, there's always a fun game that we like to play about this time, and that's the big key guessing game. So there are 22 locations in the basement of Ganon's tower. If you want to guess where the big key is going to be, just dump a number in chat between 1 and 22, and in the order Vulajin checks them, we will see who's right. I'll also mention that if you've either subscribed or donated 250 bits to any of the speed gaming channels, then you will be entered in to have your name on the leaderboard if your guess manages to be the closest. So we will see what's what. I'm feeling maybe number 11 I'll go with this time. What do you think?
Well, considering Vulajin's luck the rest of the seed, I'm tempted to drop one of those ones and say a 1, but I'll go with I won't go that extreme. Let's go with 9.
All right, just 9. So we'll be counting. We've got our intense competition going on right here, right now, and we will have to see what Vula manages to find in GT. Now, Gonzspor finishing up the left swamp gets nothing because everything's in Turtle Rock, and he'll have to head up there now. But man, it's at this point basically an insurmountable lead. I would have to say it would be incredibly difficult for Gonzspor to catch up, even if he knew where the remaining items were.
Yeah, no disrespect to Gonzspor, but at this point, Vulajin could go and probably grab a bite to eat and come back and still be able to complete the seed before Gonzspor gets this done, unfortunately. And again, nothing really that Gonzspor did wrong. It's just a matter of insane routing by Vulajin here. Everything coming up his way and leading to this, as we said, a pretty sizable advantage for Vulajin, as he is going to go ahead and activate super speed there and say hi to these Lionels. Going to be a little bit of a trouble to get these Lionels. It looks like he is going to go ahead and enter Hookshot Cave in the hopes of finding some rewards for doing this.
Yeah, he wants that Tempered Sword. Tempered Sword saves you big time on Ganon, especially because he doesn't have half magic. A nice drop there, getting... Okay, well, never mind.
What was that about half magic?
So now you can sit in phase 2 of Ganon with the cape on the entire time and just stand there and spin, not dodge the fire bats. So that actually saved, I think. Normally half magic doesn't save you that much time, but if he doesn't find Tempered, that's actually a pretty big deal in terms of how fast he can do the Ganon fight.
So at around the 1 hour, 37-minute mark, Vulajin will be entering Ganon's tower. And meanwhile, Gonzspor is seeing what the Pyramid Fairy, well, I thought it was, but it looks like he's going to mirror first.
I think that was just a wrong button press. Like Y instead of A or something like that.
Yeah, looks to be the case, given the immediate warp back.
Alright, so here comes Vulajin. He's got a burrito, so now he's a snack to munch on for the rest of GT and gets a key, so he's gonna opt to go through the right side here and check these other 4 chests. Gonzspor, what is next? In keeping with the I don't want to go to Turtle Rock because the Ice Rod's not there, it's a huge waste climbing Death Mountain. He's heading...
Probably turning in his green pendant, I would have to assume.
That's right. I was like, he's done Pod, he's done Eastern, but green pendant, that's what it is. Alright, so here comes Vula. That was just 3. Number 4 is bombs. 500 rupees and 6 is a full heart. So Vula's just gonna grab this guaranteed key. You can be in trouble if you skip this one, so he wants to get it, and then we'll be heading off to the left side. Number 7 is that torch that just got skipped. It's just got a heart burning up a little bit up there. And on towards the bulk of the items in the basement hanging out on left GT.
right, we'll see if any of these 4 chests have the big key that he's looking for. There's bombs in number 7, more bombs in number 8.
I think that was, wait, 10? Okay, 6 on the right, and then the torch 7, and 3 more. Okay, chest 10.
Yeah, that was me. That was me trying to manipulate it to where I won, but it didn't work. Dang it!
All right. Well, between the two of us, you averaged it out, right? So that's pretty good.
Yeah, I obviously, like Mauro Ronaldo, I missed that kindergarten class where we learned how to count to 10. Oh well.
All right, so Vula going up the gauntlet here. As we said, wouldn't be surprised to see him check a couple chests up at the top to try to find that tempered sword that's in keeping with what the rest of what he did. And Gonzspor is going to be grabbing that mushroom and turning it in now for a little bit. Or, oh, there's still a North Dark World left. Maybe Graveyard Ledge has not been checked yet, so we'll be hitting there first.
Meanwhile, getting a lot of aggression from the locals in that area. That is a very mean screen, for sure.
Yeah. See how Vula's gauntlet goes here. Oh, that stealth was barely dodging that arrow. Manages to take the rest of the room out pretty fast. Master Sword can be a bit of a pain in the gauntlet too. It hasn't cropped its head yet, but in the next room, next couple of rooms, you get a couple enemies that don't get one-shot by Masters, so it'll be a bit of a pain. And these BMOs on conveyor belts they're always fun.
Yeah, and they're enough of a hassle when they're stationary, but get them in motion, and oh, they can be a handful. A nice shot there on that Stalfos there for Vulajin. Nice, quick clearing of this room, and he is on his way to land mode 2.
Yeah, that was pretty good stuff for Vula. We'll see how... give me that fairy. Alright. We'll see how this land mode 2 goes. He went into land mode 1 with just the regular bow, but they're all spawning together because of grabbing that fairy, so one cycle is practically impossible. He manages to take one out. We'll see how the rest of this goes. Nice shot, and a bit of a miss, and... okay. Almost.
Gonzspor, in the meanwhile, turning in this mushroom, and will not be pleased with the piece of heart that gets provided in response, but just yet another item check that is not TR, and that's just going to further the gap between Gonzspor and Vulajin here.
Yeah, this entire late game revolves around that one decision. To go into a dungeon that you can't complete with the hopes that the item is in there. And, you know, a lot of players route like that, and it's not a bad way to route at all, because it cuts down on your potential double dips, but this is the dark side of it. If that item is actually there, you end up doing a lot of stuff, and this is going to be like a catfish check. I just hope for Gonzspor's sake that he doesn't opt for Ice, because, I mean, it would be in keeping with the rest of this. Go check Ice Palace, but we know there's nothing in Ice Palace. Who's even going to play it safe there? He does that pause, because if you go up those stairs on the same frame that the torch goes out in the previous room, you'll soft lock GT, the sprites won't spawn on this last floor, and you actually have to mirror and come all the way back up. So just, you know, opts for safety. Looking for that tempered sword, doesn't find it, but he's got a B, so maybe that'll help a bit.
Yeah, I forget who the unfortunate runner was, but I did commentate a race where that actually happened, and I was actually not aware that that was a possibility, and I kind of wish I still didn't know that that was a possibility, because that's always now going to be in the back of my mind.
It makes going up those stairs way scarier. It used to be all relaxing, but no. Now it's like, okay. If you don't wait for it, it can be a little intimidating. Of course, you have plenty of time. As long as you don't get knocked back by anything or bombed, you're A-okay. Here comes Vulajin going on Moldrum 2. And Gonzspor is on Death Mountain, so that's a good sign in terms of finding the, you know, the right path. Heading to Turtle Rock rather than Ice Palace. No sword to bail Vula out, so... Well, I mean, you know, he was pretty lucky in some of these other checks, so I guess this time it won't go his way.
Yeah, I'm sure Vula will not be complaining at this point. Entering Aga 2, looks like we will be seeing Master Sword Ganon out of Vulajin here. Let's see how many cycles it takes for this Aghanim to be dispatched. Getting a single hit in the first cycle, it appeared.
Yeah, trying to make a double out of that, but it wasn't easy. And once again, a single hit, at least getting the one off. But the fact that the two clones are synced is not the best to get any hits in that time. Gonzspor making the play that needs to be made. Oh man. Oh, that lineup was crazy. Well, didn't manage to get any more than just one out of it, so...
Yeah, Geometry Wizard giving some very odd angles here, making it very difficult to get in more than one hit at any time here, and that's so far all Vulajin's been able to accomplish.
Yeah, I think we're on 4 now, though, and this one is pretty lined up, so there goes a double to finish him off. We'll give him the dash back and forth.
Nice bonk avoidance there demonstrated by Vulajin, and he is taking flight to enter the Ganon fight here at about 1 hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah, so in terms of equipment, you could be better going into Ganon. Having the Tempered Sword makes things considerably easier, since he's going to have to be spinning for every hit that he wants to do any damage with. But, you know, he has the cape, he has half magic, and I do believe that there's at least one blue potion waiting. And there's a Kena Samaria block, because, I don't know, why not? Does that do anything?
If it did, it's beyond my comprehension. Maybe just wanting to say, hey, Gan, look what I can do. Anyways, that's 4 hits so far in Phase 1. There's the 5th. And we'll be spinning to win here to get to the point where he can start depositing silver arrows into Ganon's face.
Yeah, Phase 1 even takes a little while when you just have Master Sword. And he will switch to the cape. He's going to use that half magic and that potion because I don't care how good you are at dodging fire bats. Being caped for this with Master Sword is definitely faster.
Nice position there, able to get 2 for 1 spin slash there in this spot, and utilizing the cape to get even more for his magic out of that. And he's on to Phase 3 just like that.
Yeah, that's the power of that. If you have to do that dodging all the bats, it's so much slower. So Vula, he's able to now push into Phase 3. No teleports so far, it's just a 50-50 whether Ganon's going to teleport or not. And getting a lot of hits off so far, so pretty nice. And now it's over. Ganon doesn't want to die, so he's like, no, I'm running.
I'm getting flashbacks to an Andy fight a long time ago, but it looks like Ganon's deciding to stop his teleportation demonstration, and Vulajin will be on his way to shooting 4 silver arrows, answering Ganon's question about whether those silver arrows were found or not, and Vulajin will be ending the scene. Very nice double there as well.
Yep. Won't be able to get a double on this one, so he'll opt to relight the torch here. 1 silver left to go. And Ganon will be dead in short order. There's the stun, there's the shot, and he is down.
GG's to Vulajin taking the seed. It appears with an official Speed Racing TV time, 1 hour, 47 minutes, 27 seconds. That is a victory for Vulajin, who will improve to 2-1 in the tournament.
GG, Vula. Coming across that finish line. And our final text is going to be that he has ended the domination of Dr. Wily. So I guess it was, you know, a scientist piloting that Ganon after all. It wasn't actually biological.
While the credits roll for Vulajin, we'll see Gonzspor now clearing Turtle Rock and already finding the hook shot, and he's just a Mimic Cave away from entering Go Mode himself, and I'm sure he'll be happy to see that, albeit unfortunately going to be in a losing effort at this point.
Yeah, and if he's watching the SRTV window, which may or may not be, then he'll know that Vula has finished up here, but he can still finish the seed out. He's close to completion. I mean, he just has to do TR and then Swamp, which unfortunately the fact that he visited it already doesn't make it much faster, but you know, it's still pretty quick.
And it appears we'll be joined by our Victor Vulajin here in just a moment. It'll be really interesting to get his thoughts on his performance tonight. But in the meanwhile, Gonzspor getting that ice rod once and for all, and not a moment too soon, I'm sure, from his perspective.
All right, and we are now joined by Vulajin, having finished that race up. So GG, dude.
Hey, thanks. Still in the middle of catching my breath here.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting. Some hiccups here and there, but what did you make of that scene? Talk me through it a little bit.
Okay, so Bomb's Escape is fun. I literally, after I took the death in the escape with the bomb that just did not actually hit the dude, I was like gone. I was tilted straight off the planet. Like there was no, I escaped orbit. There was no coming back. And then I was just like, all right, well, let's play this like super aggressively compared to my normal. Like my normal was a lot more cautious. I would normally probably not be like, oh, I'm missing hookshot and ice rod. Let's go to Turtle Rock. But today I was like, I have to do all this crap to make up for the stupid death and how crappily I'm playing. And it worked out apparently because the suit is dumb.
Yeah, to say you dodged a bullet or two on some of the things you skipped would be a bit of an understatement, I think.
Well, feel free to give me the recap. I'm curious.
All right, so I think the biggest one was, I mean, first off, you were synced after you skipped Lumberjack, so you'd already taken enough risks to like even things up. That death actually didn't set you back all that far. And then when you finished Pod, there's the option of completing Pendant Eastern for one item, which Gonzspor opted to do, and you opted not to do. And that was Ether. So for the longest time, we were like, oh my gosh, he's never going to go back there. And it ended up not being required. So missing the other two medallions not being necessary. And then you skipped out of Thieves Town as well, which ended up being nothing in the end. But like that was a point as well for a while. I was like, man, what if this green pendant is something? But it ended up, you know, Turtle Rock. How about that?
How about Turtle Rock? Yeah, I mean, that was I was trying to not just like, you know, be a little bit risky, but in general, like, just undo some of my normal, like, cautious play. So, like, normally I would go, like, as soon as I get, oh my gosh, my brain. As soon as I get Dark World access, like Hammer and Glove and Moon Pearl or Mid and Moon Pearl, I would almost always go straight into Village of Outcasts and do like the let's hit Thieves Town, let's hit Skull, depending on whether they're like crystals or pendants or whatever. So that would have been my normal play, but I was like, I can't do that right now. Like I'm so far behind, I think. I'm playing so badly, and my opponent, like, I had checked up a little bit on my opponent, and as far as I'm concerned, like, he's as good as me. But like the only thing that I really got that seemed like a possible like vulnerability that I could maybe exploit was like in his last race where he took the loss, he missed an item. Like there was just a gamble point where he made the safer play and his opponent made the more risky play, and his opponent found the medallion needed to go finish the game. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I need to play a little bit like that. And so when it came time to like do all that, so I was like, I could go, like I just got Glove, I could go into Village of Outcasts, or I could go up to Death Mountain, do Hera, which is the other red crystal. Thank God I never followed through on that. I was really thinking about like, oh, you know, both red crystals are available so early, maybe I should go to Pyramid Fairy. I would imagine that was almost certainly a huge waste of time.
Yeah, that was also nothing.
I believe a single rupee and a piece of heart, if I'm recalling correctly. So yeah, the duddest of duds.
Ugh. So yeah, I mean, it really, like, I obviously I wasn't watching the race, but I really feel it's pretty likely it mostly came down to that TR play. Like, if it weren't for that, I probably would have done all the same crap that Gonzspor ended up doing. Where did he end up finding Tempered Sword?
That was in Spike Cave.
Yeah. Oh god.
Basically, the way it went, And what was, I guess, a huge determining factor in the race that we didn't realize at the time is Gonzspor had the Fire Rod on his first visit to Death Mountain, but opted, instead of going to Turtle Rock, this was basically the decision. I don't want to do Turtle Rock without the Ice Rod, so he stayed out of it. He did Spike Cave then, and then he, went and did everything else, including going into Swamp without the hook shot, and, well, everything except for Ice Palace at this point. That's basically what Gonzspor did.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of options. I think, like, I don't want to say that it was, like, completely just a gamble that I went to Turtle Rock, because that would be kind of a sort of a lie, but, like, the options for me in my mind were, like, I'm not doing these pendant dungeons. There's just no need. They didn't seem to be required. And, like, the Crystal Dungeon just made a lot of sense. We were talking about Turtle Rock versus Swamp Palace, so either way, there were a lot of items at stake. And then I thought, I'm missing the Ice Rod to finish Turtle Rock. I'm missing the hook shot to finish Swamp. But the hook shot limits you far more in Swamp, whereas the Ice Rod... And I mean, the Ice Rod also shows up in Turtle Rock so often. So that was pretty much the basis for that decision was, okay, I think this is going to be the play.
Yeah, and really when you get down to it, go moding Swamp versus go moding TR, there's not a big difference when you go mode TR versus when you go mode Swamp. So there's definitely some logic into, I mean, yeah, double dimming TR is far from ideal, but it can definitely lead to some major payout as clearly demonstrated here. Yeah, practically once you got to access to Dark World, that ascension to orbit made you a routing god. It felt like it seemed like you could do no wrong. Even finding that red rupee before entering Zora's domain as well, it seemed like just everything was coming up your way. And but yeah, these items get shuffled in a different way. This could have been a completely different match comparing to what you two did separately from each other. But everything came up your way, and very nicely done all the same.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's randomizer, so like anything could have, totally been different. And that's, I just got to be happy that like today, whatever weird stuff I thought like, hey, let's do this, it all worked out. So I feel good about that. I don't feel good so much about the execution, except at the end on Ganon. Like I'm happy that with Master and Silvers, I was able to do a clean Ganon fight because I often have trouble with that.
Yeah, that was pretty smooth. And honestly, aside from the death and the escape, like I know that just makes you feel bad about the entire seed for the duration of your run, but aside from that, like things were pretty solid for you throughout.
Well, that was fun. I need to go catch my breath, and I'm gonna watch the end of Gonz's run. So, thanks for having me on, guys. I look forward to listening back to your commentary afterwards.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Enjoy that adrenaline rush, and again, GG's.
GG, dude. All right, so in the meantime, Gonzspor has managed to complete the last couple Crystal Dungeons and is going to be heading up to GT. So for Vulajin, that key was in the 10th chest. Gonzspor may or may not find it faster. Kind of heading right when you get a small key is, I would say, the more standard route. I see most players tend to do this, but Gonzspor could opt for right 2, then left, or just straight left and find the key a bit faster. But definitely won't be a slow GT key, that's for sure.
Yep, and with that Tempered Sword in his possession, the Ganon fight should go a little bit quicker than Master Sword for Vulajin. But either way, huge respect for Gonzspor and to all other racers. Every match I've commentated has kind of left a finishing gap that's been kind of this width, but every single time I see these runners going ahead and finishing out, and huge respect for everyone for doing that rather than doing what I would normally expect in my cynical nature, to just accept the loss and just be done with it. But huge respect for Gonzspor for finishing out to its conclusion.
Yeah, and like Gonzspor's a good sport about this too. Like he stopped for a moment at some point in the past and like typed the GG to Vula over in the SRTV chat. So like he knows what's up. He's just finishing the run out like strong, just showing that like he's played the seat really well. And this finishing gap has nothing to do, in my opinion, with like any execution problems or anything like that. It all just came down to that route, that decision that Vula made to just go Turtle Rock early. And Gonzspor was like, well, if the Ice Rod wasn't there, this would have been a very different game.
Yeah, imagine if any one of those medallions was ether. I mean, Gonzspor could be way ahead at this point. I mean, that's all it would take. And that was, again, a 44% chance that came to pass. So not a more or less a coin flip, but still a coin flip away from this being a completely different race.
Yeah, that's for sure. Because, I mean, we saw the things that Lula was willing to do from the beginning before ever even considering going back to Eastern. Like, Turtle Rock was the play. And if that wasn't the play, then it would have been, you know, Swamp or Ice, most likely. Like, that Ether Medallion would have stayed in Eastern for forever. So Gonzspor picks a, you know, nearly optimal route through GT now, and did the 2 chests in the Hope Room, but didn't opt for those 4 on the right, so manages to cut a little bit of time out and find that big key in chest number 6, that is.
So Gonzspor will be demonstrating his endgame here through the gauntlet and beyond. Let's go ahead and give that the attention it most certainly deserves here as we're about to cross past the 2-hour mark here in this race.
Yeah, I liked that strat for the first Mimic Room. Normally you'll see players, you know, stop and hold the wall or slash or pull the statue or something to pull the Mimics up to them, but walking down through the spikes and looked pretty fast too, so that was pretty nice on both of those Mimic Rooms actually.
Yeah, very impressive Ganon's Tower so far from Gonzspor. Evading those cannonball shots, foregoing the fairies, understandably so, with red mail and 9.5 hearts. No immediate danger of any sort of setback here, and beginning the gauntlet.
The stealth host escaped, didn't manage to pin it in the top corner, but it'll be dead soon. You also get to see kind of, I guess, coming up how nice Tempered Sword is in the gauntlet, because one-shotting everything with Slash is just really, really good.
Yep, nice to just be able to do a very well-timed dash to get through this third room here. Yeah, Tempered Sword to be able to take care of these red enemies here is a wonderful luxury to have, to be sure.
Yep, gonna pass up this fairy. Gonzspor still has pretty good health count here, so probably just gonna, you know, if anything, powder the fairies up at the top of the gauntlet. Gets 2 of the worms down on that first cycle there, and nice timing on that shot to bring down the last landmo and hit up to the top of the gauntlet. So we'll see how this Wizard's 2 room goes. I think this one, like it really shows how much you practice it. Like, getting in 1 cycle just like that, very nice execution from Gonzspor. Like, not the easiest thing to do to get the block timing and the slash right. So you know that they've taken a look at that room when they do that.
Absolutely, never a bad idea to get your Ganon's Tower confidence at its maximum, as you're guaranteed to do it if you're going to complete a seed. So nice to have that end game sorted out to just leave that, make that a nice, easy finish if at all possible. And Gonzspor making clean work of these torch rooms here. Going to go ahead and get these fired up here, and we'll definitely be looking for that magic pot there in the room after this.
Yeah, and just to piggyback off of what you're saying, like, this is a great place to practice. Like, if you want to practice your execution in rando, like, bosses are pretty good, but just GT in general, like, you can save so much time here by practicing these rooms, and you're always going to do them, as you said, so might as well go through it a few times.
And hey, if you ever decide to take a dip into the NMG waters, you got some of this experience right there off the bat. So now you're not going to have a red mail and a mirror shield, but hey, you never know. We're on our way to Moldorm 2 here. Let's see if Gonzspor can take care of this with just a slash and a swipe, and down goes Moldorm 2 just like that.
Yep, nice. Gets the dash through, and then a quick spin. So there goes Moldorm, and we'll be hook-shotting across over to that last chest. Isn't going to check it because, unlike Vulajin, Gonzspor does not need an extra sword. Butter makes Ganon a little bit easier, but it's tempered to butter is nothing compared to what master to tempered does.
Absolutely. So Gonzspor, let's see if Gonzspor can make cleaner work of Aga 2 potentially. Aga 2 was kind of rude with these angles. Let's see if Gonzspor can do anything with this here. And looks like a double there. Very nicely done there.
Nice.
And that's 5 out of 3 cycles. And a very nice Aga 2, and giving a little bit of a post-mortem pokes to Agnum, it appears.
Yeah, a little bit of the dash stab. If Aga was still alive, that would surely hurt. Gonzspor is going to be dropping into the Ganon fight now. Tempered and Silvers be looking to make short work of this. The only thing Bula had that Gonzspor didn't at this point is that half magic go to Hookshot Cave, but of course Gonzspor didn't need to look for a sword, so skipping that made tons of sense. There's our cheese fact once again. I'll do it for phase 1. We'll see how many Firebat cycles go on phase 2. Lula, of course, did a good job of this using that cape, and Gonzspor going to opt for the same thing. Like, even if you have Tempered, like, you basically can guarantee a 1 cycle by doing it like this. Like, that's enough hits. Ganon's going to be in phase 3, and you can just leave the cape on and be like, okay, the Firebats won't hit me away from a potential hit at the start of phase 3. Still has a green and a blue potion, so it's like, you know, just to use that magic, have an easy time. No. Remember these Ganon teleports, right? It was nice at the start, and then before the last hit, Ganon just runs around for a bit.
Yep, Ganon getting it all in that one last hit, and did you find the arrows in Turok? Well, here you go. Have one in your face.
Yep, we couldn't miss it. Gonzspor doesn't get Torch Clutch there, but you often don't even try for it when you have Silvers. It doesn't make a big difference, and Gonzspor will have to relight these torches one more time, but we'll be soon taking down Ganon with one more silver shot. And there he goes.
GG's to Gonzspor. Again, credit for finishing this out. He will finish with a official SRTV time of 2 hours, 6 minutes, 31 seconds. GG's to Gonzspor. Very nicely played. Just kind of got the short end of the stick on the routing RNG, but still very well played, albeit in a losing effort, but still respect and GG's to Gonzspor.
Yeah, and with a 1-2 record as well, that doesn't mean that Gonzspor is necessarily out of the running for the bracket. It's a pretty tall order to win 4 in a row, but I think like it could happen, and you know, Gonzspor is definitely capable of doing it. It's just, you know, it's tough, but was a well-played seed, so GG for sure.
Yeah, I would certainly not like to be the 1 and 2 opponent that draws Gonzspor for week 4. That's going to be a tough 1 and 2 matchup, I would have to assume. We'll see if Gonzspor likes to join us for a post-match interview here, but in either case, I want to thank you guys for sticking around with us and watching this to its completion. Feel free to give both of these runners a follow. They put on an amazing exhibition of their randomizer talents this evening, and both are more than deserving of a follow if you wish to keep track of their future exploits in this tournament and beyond.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I also just want to say thanks a bunch for commentating with me, CDB. It was a lot of fun.
Truly an honor and pleasure, sir. I hope to do it again sometime.
Yeah, and thanks to our tracker, Space Cowboy, for keeping us honest and making sure we actually knew what items the players had, because if we didn't have that, then I do not know what we would talk about.
So that will, assuming that the other race that started at this time is at its conclusion, that will actually end the randomizer festivities for this evening. We will resume Randomizer tomorrow morning, starting at 9 a.m. Eastern time. Not in Eastern, but we go by Eastern time here at the Randomizer tournament. So at 9 a.m. Eastern time, we'll have Ida versus Caladrius on Speed Gaming 2. that will resume our randomizer broadcasting. And likely we'll have many more to go, but right now that's the current one we have scheduled upcoming tomorrow morning.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of rando tomorrow, but every so often, we do need to let the people managing this tournament sleep, so I guess they have a break for a bit, so that's the last race of the night. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I hope you enjoyed, and we will see you guys next time.
Have a good night, guys.